So today, in this video, we are going to be talking about Gambit. And right now, I hold the sentiment of Bungie's best mode they have ever designed should be left to die or removed from the game. Just don't make it anything that we have to do. Kind of leave it as an option, or just honestly just remove it from the game. I wouldn't care less. Now, I have held Gambit to a high standard and I've praised it in the past. It's one of the first modes I came back to when, before Shadowkeep, and that's I missed kind of the year of Forsaken and on. Destiny just really wasn't clicking with me, and it was actually the first time throughout the whole franchise where I just kind of didn't play the game. So it's a weird thing to say, but when I came back, Gambit was one of the pivotal points of keeping me back in the game. It was a great hybrid of PvP and PvE, bringing in together one mode to really deliver a unique experience I have not played or felt in the franchise. So, or frankly, in any Bungie game. So year 7 of Destiny's franchise, and Gambit is in a place where, granted, since it wasn't in D1, I can't really compare that, but 7 years into the franchise, this mode has no place anymore right now for me, and there's many reasons why. I do think that if they remove this mode, I will say that they should replace the Pinnacle reward with another way to get. I don't support them removing a Pinnacle playlist mode and then not bringing a Pinnacle option back for players. Just give people another way to get that Pinnacle if you do remove this mode. But with that being said, I played Gambit Labs. I thought the experience was the same as I felt so far this season. It wasn't better, it wasn't worse, and it made me just sit back and just realize this: Gambit has no place in the game. Now, there's many different reasons why, and we'll talk about the first one. The power of the Guardian and the player is ridiculous compared to this outdated mode. If you guys look at the newer activities you can play in PvE specifically, you notice that things feel fresh, things feel good, things feel juicy. And then when you play something from Shadowkeep and before, obviously when the networking and the engine was operating differently and they had different structures for AI and how many enemies could be in activity, things feel much slower and like way more sluggish and not as fun as the newer stuff. And I do think Bungie should update those, but at the same time, Gambit's in that issue as well of just, we're too strong. We are ridiculously too strong, and that's kind of the good part about PvE is we have power and we can feel like we're participating at all different components. And then when we do higher end stuff, yeah, it's challenging, but we still have that power, and we have to just think a little bit more and just be a little bit more conscious. That's really all it is with our power. Like, it's not like, oh, we go to a grandmaster and we can't just destroy a shit ton of edge. We could, but there's still more bosses and more things that could take us out quicker. So I think in that aspect, it's a little bit healthy. But for Gambit, it's at a point of you can't take the power away from the Guardian, and then you can't take the power, because if you do that, it just ruins what PvE feels like now. And then for PvP aspect of it, it's just, it's fine. I don't really complain about the invasions and stuff like that, but the PvE part of Gambit is really suffering from outdated stuff, and they would need to address that some way. I don't know what it is. You don't make it harder, but you don't make it boring. And that's what I feel like Gambit is. It's boring because the PvE is definitely not interesting like newer activities, because again, those newer activities are with the power creep in mind. And yeah. Now, another thing that I have a massive issue with Gambit right now, and the reason why I hold the sentiment, is the reason it is even in the game. Why does it exist? What is the narrative behind Gambit and its connection to the world around Destiny? We see it with PsyOps, the activities from last year and this year. They have some sort of connection to the narrative and the story being told throughout the year for Destiny. And Gambit has never evolved from when it was introduced. It was introduced Season Drifter. It had a connection to the season, the story, things like that, the character of the Drifter. And it's just never been there since. It's just never changed. It's never had some sort of things. Like, there is, for some reason, even though it's not saying much, but for like, say, PvP, we are playing on maps that have been taken by the darkness. Well, little do we know that we are using Osiris people with the Infinite Force. They're using some form of technology to replicate these locations. So even though we're not at those locations, we're in a simulation replicating those locations and things like that. So there's reasons why those maps still exist. So it's not much. I think they could definitely do more, but at the same time, Gambit has no reason in the world of Witch Queen or the world of Beyond Light. Why are we doing this? This seems pointless. At least in PvP, we're honing our skills against each other to create a stronger Guardian. Gambit is just the odd child alone in the corner with no purpose and no reason to join the crowd right now. And the third reason I kind of think it should die, and I mean, it's important to mention that these things I'm bringing up, I want them to change because then I'll change my sentiment towards Gambit dying and being vaulted and removed and maybe brought back later. But the rewards are kind of laughable. If we look at the Vanguard playlist and we look at the PvP playlist, we have ways to get adept gear through those activities, specifically adept weapons and mods. Gambit has none of that. How would they do that? I don't know. They removed Gambit Prime, but do something to create tangible rewards that players want to go for it. I mean, you have to make the mode better too. Like, that's not give them like, oh, if you add good rewards, all problems are fixed. No, but part of the problem is the fact that there is no actual good reward in Gambit. The weapons are kind of forgettable. Even last year, I mean, there were some good ones, like the fusion, bottom dollar, borrowed time, that there was good weapons to get. But again, you get those weapons and now you can focus those weapons with the engram, onboard engram. So do you really need to truly play Gambit to get rewards? What if we add exotics that you can only get through Gambit? I mean, I'm not 100% on board with that, but part of that will make me play the mode more, which is a lot of people are not doing that. We're all honest with ourselves, and you guys look at your playing time, you're probably not playing Gambit as much because I'm sorry, it sucks. At least the majority of the community has that sentiment, and that's not a good thing to have. If you guys are the minority that do love Gambit, I wish I was you, but I can't stand the mode. It's miserable, it's painful, and it's a waste of my time when it comes to just time spent in Destiny. I can play Vanguard stuff, I can play Crucible stuff, and I still feel like I'm getting better rewards and more purpose to play than playing Gambit. And whether that's adept weapons, whether that's unique armor that has extra mod slots, so we do know Graps has that as well, but maybe you add armor that can help you in PvE that has an extra mod slot which will help benefit so many builds. Maybe that's attainable through Gambit. Just give us a reason to play it, and rewards is massive to the health of the game and health of modes within Destiny. It's kind of the reason why they talk about vaulting things, and Gambit isn't checking any of those things that should maintain its stance in the game. So, and right now, let it die, vault it, but until those changes, I mean, let's see how things play out. But with that being said, that's all I gotta say on Gambit. The mode itself, one of Bungie's best modes has now has not stand the test of time. It has been, again, forgotten. It has been, lacking in support, and it's really showing. And I know they're working on changing things, and kudos to them for making that effort, but I think the proper thing would be vault it. Don't let players experience the pain. Come back stronger with it in a season. Introduce it with the season, have it tied to the season in some capacity. Don't make it required for the season, but bring back the mode tied to some other new activity, and make sure that Drifter feels connected to the world and is an important player within the world of Destiny. Because right now, he's not that anymore. He's kind of like, oh, I'm just the black sheep of, the Vanguard tower. So with that being said, guys, that's all I gotta say on this one. If you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative, or just agree with my sentiments and my comments on Gambit itself, definitely drop this video a like. If you have any other thoughts and comments, that things I miss, or maybe you have to add to the conversation, leave a comment down below. We can have a conversation about it. And if you guys are new here and want more content from me, definitely hit that subscribe button and the bell. Don't forget the bell to be notified when I drop that content. With that all out the way, that's all I got for this one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.